So you want to make Metroidvania-like movement. To begin, we'll need a playable character. Let's start by making a 2D static physics object. Then we'll set its rigid body to dynamic instead of static, and the gravity to 2. You can leave this box white, but I'll make the color red so it stands out, and make it a bit taller by changing its scale. I'll also create a 2D static sprite as a child object by right-clicking on our player. This will serve as showing the direction our player is facing, and is totally not at all suspicious looking. Now let's create our first script. To do this, create a script folder by right-clicking on the assets folder, naming it scripts. Then right-click on the scripts folder and click on the C# script option. Then drag the script on top of the player in the hierarchy. Let's set up some variables. First, we'll create a public float speed variable and set it to 5.0f. This will control how fast we can move. Then we'll create a private float variable called horizontal input. Let's go to our update method and set horizontal input equal to input.getAccessRaw, parentheses, quotation marks, horizontal. Now let's create our move method, which we'll call void move. Let's create another variable called public rigid body 2D RB, so we can control things like the velocity of the player. Then all we have to do is say rb.velocity equals new vector 2 horizontal input times speed, comma, rb.velocity.y. This will allow you to move left or right by multiplying speed by the positive or negative 1 input we give it by pressing the arrow keys, or A or D, in the direction, or vectors, on the x-axis, while using our current y velocity. Lastly, we need to create a fixed update method. Fixed update runs based on the frame rate the game is set to. Inside fixed update, we'll call the move method. Now that we're back in Unity, we need to make sure to click on the top box of the rigid body component and drag it into the slot we have for RB in our player script. Now while the player is indeed moving, it's not changing direction. To fix that, let's add some more code. We'll create a public bool called faceRight and set it to true since my player starts out facing right. Then, let's create a method called direction. In the method, we'll set faceRight equal to not faceRight, meaning it sets the boolean to the opposite of what it currently is. Then we'll call transform.rotate to rotate the player 180 degrees. Now let's return to the move method and add some conditions. We'll check to see if horizontal input is greater than 0 and if you are not already facing right. If so, we'll call direction once to flip the player. Then we'll do an else if for the other direction and call direction again. In the next video, I'll show you how to do more complex movement like jumping. But as for now, that's